In my health video 3 months ago, I think it was, yeah, 3 months ago, I talked about the fact that we're gonna be moving studios. I'm gonna take you through a little tour of what we got now, and we're gonna take a very preliminary tour of the new studio as it is currently under construction. But first, we gotta pay for that studio, and how are we gonna do that? iBuyPower offers several entry points for new gamers that want an out-of-the-box premium PC gaming experience. Whether they purchase one of their many RDY pre-built gaming PCs like the Valorant Victa B001, or an easy builder PC based on the most popular games and allocated budget, or a completely custom build like my build, which was made when I visited iBuyPower in April, anyone can jump right into PC gaming thanks to the multiple solutions offered by iBuyPower, who is also celebrating their 25th anniversary this year. Enter code J before checking out to receive $50 off RDY systems over $999, or 5% off custom builds over $999. So to start configuring your next PC, head to the sponsored link in the description below. So I posted some pictures already on Twitter, and a very common response is like, but you just moved. Guys, it was over 5 years ago that we moved into this place. 2 years ago when we did the small expansion, if you will. So let's talk about what we had when we first started. This is our entryway right here, which we've never used for anything other than a catch-all. And right now it's caught a lot because we are getting ready to move. So Nick has been packing things up like a madman and sort of just putting them wherever we could. So this area was never used for videos. That's our bathroom. We shit in there. As you can see right now, this is what was our podcast set, and it has currently turned into the storage unit as things are getting packed up and it's overflow of recording equipment and stuff. AV shelf, 3D printers that never really got a permanent home like we wanted to do. So this room stopped being used as we prepared to move. So the last 3 months, this has been non-usable. This is the area that we had expanded. Ow, I just hit my arm. We expanded into. So this used to be the first part of the warehouse where you walked in here. And yeah, it's a mess right now, and we got lunch wrappers and stuff everywhere, so don't judge us on this. Anyway, this used to be the first part of the warehouse where back in the day, on this side was the fake bedroom looking set where we had the podcast set in there temporarily as well. This side over here was where I had remember the set that had like the stack of tires behind me, and people were like, why are there tires behind you? And it's because I was doubling it as a storage for my race cars tires and stuff. So anyway, that was there with just the shelf right here, but it was all warehouse and dirty and dusty, and we couldn't control it very well. So I hired the contractor who is the approved you can use whatever contractor you want, but it was the approved contractor that would get really good rates for working in this building because he does a lot of the work. And he built this wall, which ended up putting in power drops for us and data drops and all that stuff. And then we painted everything. He did these lights for us. Yes, there's 2 different color lights on purpose. Talk about that in a sec. And then this became our like bullpen where we work / really inefficient use of this space. So we've had these racing sims sitting here. I've only driven this thing like 3 times because I've just always been too busy to turn it on and get it working. Nick spent more time in here than anyone else. This one right here, which is the track racer, this one was set up primarily for VR. So then, since it didn't have monitors, it became inconvenient to sit down in and try and race. This table is that IKEA sit stand collaboration thing, which was supposed to be another workstation. We never used it for that. This area gets used quite often though. You've seen this in videos a lot. This is where our test benches and stuff are, and when we test like stuff, right? It's the whole point of test bench. But anyway, what I mean by inefficiently is we tend to use like this corner only, which sort of sucks, but that's all right. If we come out here, so it's an even bigger disaster out here, which was our storage / shop. The problem with out here is we are in a warehouse, as you can see. And we live in a very windy area. We're near the desert. It's very dusty and dirty. It's hard to keep things clean and sanitary out here, and without being a noisy mess. We got the alley behind us with other businesses that get big rig deliveries. I don't know if you can hear a siren. Fortunately, that room in there is soundproof. I don't want to say soundproof, but it's got a very good sound isolation. We use very specific types of in-wall materials and on-roof materials on our T-bar ceiling to kill and cut down as much sound as possible. So out here, it's always been hard to record when we have to hold and wait for a delivery, or a forklift driver going by, rattling all over the place, or the gym next door is blasting music. It just became a complete nightmare. What became a bigger nightmare is the fact that I like to hoard, as you can kind of see. And this is after we've gotten rid of a lot of crap. And yeah, Nick's making that face because he's the one that gets to figure out where everything goes. Not now, but like not in the new place, but already. Fortunately, in the new place, you'll see, it gives us lots of room to grow and then figure out what you're gonna do with all that crap then. And we got a lot of computer cases and stuff we just have to get rid of. We have to start telling companies stop sending us cases, honestly. So anyway, this is what we got, these 2 rooms, that's it. So I've seen a lot of people be like, Jay, why do you need a new place? Well, because I don't like to shrink. I don't like to shrink in many ways. I like to grow to meet my problems. So why don't I show you my new problem? Welcome to my newest problem, if you will. So, okay, so this is our entry area right here. This is gonna be kind of, we're fully under construction right now, as you can see. The current tenant is on their way out, so we have some overlap right now of me coming in and then moving out, so some of their stuff is still here. Very cool people. I'd love to shout them out, but I don't really want to identify where we are. So I think you guys can understand that. These right here are all the new light fixtures I'm having put in. We're getting rid of all these egg crate. They're not fluorescent, they're actually LED. They're electronic LED fluorescents. So they work with like T8 fluorescents or LED replacement tubes. We're replacing them, as you can see, with these right here, everywhere, because these are much better lights. They are way better when it comes to the color rendition, CRI, and they give us a much wider beam of light, which is nice in the egg crate parabolic lenses, which push everything straight down, make it look like a cave. So I give my wife actually full control over decoration of our entryway area. So we'll probably have a coffee table here, plant, couch, oversized chair, some sort of decoration on the wall or something right here, just something nice to sort of deal with. First office over here on the left. So this room here, we're trying to conceptualize what we want to do with this. And you look so scared as I walk closer to you. So right now you might hear a lot of reverb. It's just open walls, right? But we're conceptualizing this as possibly being like a setup room. What I mean by that, it's a room designed for modularity of reviewing setup type stuff. Desks, chairs, lighting, like anything you would think of like Twitch streamer would want, or a home office type thing. So it's set up as just a home office that is intended for stuff to be rotating in and out of here. And that way it has a dedicated space that doesn't have to be reset and used all the time and then reset back to some other use case, which is what we have to deal with now. So this is one of the first offices you come across. As we come this way, hey, look, stairs. We'll talk about that in a second. So this is just kind of like the entryway. My idea here is I'm probably gonna have a table with some of like the D-frame and the E1, and if Skunkworks ever gets retired, like some of my favorite builds on display here. But we're gonna have a custom made sign with my company logo right here, and I'm gonna have a TV over here that's basically got like a 10-hour supercut of like all of Phil's montages, just sort of all butted together as kind of like a constant looping video, which I think will be pretty neat. This room right here, right now the mason's still in here doing work, but so this is gonna be the main, it's gonna be like the main set area. So that corner I showed you, which I say we use pretty inefficiently where we are now, it would have this whole room dedicated to that type of filming. And it could be done on multiple angles. So he's finishing up the wall right here because we tore this whole wall out. That way we could do full sound isolation between our neighbor. So our neighbor is a gym. So it can get kind of noisy in there when they're playing music and stuff. So the drywall was taken down. It's all wood frame because of the fact that it's a 2-story unit. And so we went, on their side, it's sheetrock or drywall and plywood, and then the framing. And then it was just sheetrock on our side and not even plywood. So now it goes drywall, plywood, insulation, R21 insulation actually, which will be going on the roof, the ceiling above here as well to lower any walking sounds of anyone upstairs. And then it has a soundboard, which is actually a specific type of kind of a real dense fibrous type of board that's designed to just kill sound from coming through it. Then drywall again. So it goes drywall, wood, drywall, soundboard, drywall. So we made like a 3x3 in and out sandwich, if you will, of materials plus insulation in there to cut down as much sound as possible. So I'm excited about that because I don't want to have to worry about noise. This is obviously a bathroom. Nothing's interesting to talk about in there. This is Nick's most excited. Nick's so excited about this. It's his first time. He's working on the camera now, seeing this door. This is a Harry Potter closet. So let me turn on the light real quick here. The contractor was telling me they used to put doors here when they built these places, and anytime someone moves out, they touch up and do repairs and stuff. They decided like at some point to stop putting doors here. So we had like a little 1.5 by 1.5 access panel, and it needed an access panel because, as you can see, we have a fire sprinkler system in here. This also is a pipe that takes it up to the second floor. And over here, they're gonna hide this. This does have electrical conduit here. So we were like, this would make a great closet. So to have our toilet paper and paper towels and cleaning supplies and all that stuff in there. So we're having them put a 24-inch door right here. And Nick, I don't know why, but Nick is so excited about this. So this is gonna be a door, Nick, and it's gonna open out obviously because it can't go in because of the stairs. And now we have a place to put some racks in here and cleaning stuff. Because right now it all just sort of sits in the bathroom. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is a 2-story unit. So we go and come up the stairs. This is gonna be basically where all of our work is done. So what I mean by work is like my office is gonna be up here, Phil's office is gonna be up here, Nick is obviously gonna be up here, and they just started painting. So I'm excited to see what it's gonna look like tomorrow when at least one of the rooms are done. So this is gonna be my office right here. It's locked right now because the tenant, this is one room they haven't moved out of yet. They have about another week here before they need to be gone. They graciously gave us a week early access so we could start our demo and build out. That way we can make sure that we're up and running without any overlap. So huge thanks to them for allowing us to do that. But that's gonna be my office right there. This is gonna be kind of a rec area. My wife, when I was talking with her about visualizing all of this, it was, what do we need that we don't currently have? Like when we move into this space, it needs to be obviously more than just saying room to grow in terms of collecting shit. But what do we not have? And she said, you guys don't have a decompression area. You don't have like a rec room or anything like that. So this is where we're gonna probably have at least one of the racing sims up here, probably a couch right here, maybe a TV on the wall, we'll see. But we're thinking about maybe getting some of those retro arcade emulator cabinets. So maybe some arcades here, maybe a foosball table, something where we can just sort of have fun and be like, hey, let's just go out here and see if we can get the best score, high score at Pac-Man or something stupid. You know, just a way to reset the mind and in between work or before work, after work, whatever. But she felt like that's an important space that we need. This office right now that they're currently doing the trim work on, this is gonna be Phil's office / editing den. So if we ever end up with another editor, they would end up being in there with Phil. Right now, as you saw, our desks are all together. We need to be able to, at times, separate ourselves from each other so we're not distracting each other. So for instance, there's times I need to take a business call, or there's times that Nick has to take a call because Nick helps with our business development side of things. There's times that I'm just bored and I start distracting Phil when he's trying to edit and I may not be working on something else. So I'm like nagging at him to watch me do this, watch me do that or whatever. And it starts to get really annoying. And so this allows him to be able to close the blinds, shut the door, just be alone and in his creative space. He can create an atmosphere for himself, and I'm gonna let him sort of decorate this how he wants. I'll pay for it, but he needs like to have the ambiance and whatever gives him that state of mind to be in for his edits. So I thought that that was important. Nick is gonna actually be out here in the more open area. We're probably gonna end up putting a desk right here underneath the window because of the fact that here would sort of be in the way. As you can see along this wall right here, there's a ton of data drops and power plugs. I don't know what was along this wall before the tenant that's here now. There's a lot of power and a lot of drops. So I know along this wall, I'm gonna have our test stations that you saw like we have now with the long wood tables. Those are probably gonna end up here with our monitors and our test rigs and stuff so that it'll be close to Nick to monitor when we're doing things like software logging and all that sort of stuff, and close to me since I do like 95% of our testing. So I think having a desk right here for Nick would be nice. And the reason why Nick doesn't have his own office is because of the fact that he's probably the one moving around the most out of all of us. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Back and forth into the warehouse or taking in shipments or delivering or packing things up or going through preparing product for the videos that are going live. So you're up and down and moving a lot. We'd initially thought about putting Nick downstairs closer to the We're gonna have to do something about that door chirp because that is when someone comes in and out. But fortunately, it only chirps up here, so that lets us know someone came in. But as I was starting to say, it's important that we all three be in close proximity for communication reasons. I don't wanna have to like call Nick if he's downstairs, or I don't wanna have to deal with like an intercom system or whatever. It's just that way we can be close. All production is downstairs, all work is done upstairs. We're thinking we might just do a little like kitchenette down here. So we'll probably do like a little table with a microwave and all that, and then like maybe a apartment size fridge right here. Since we're up here, no point in having that downstairs. In fact, the room that is now our main set, which I showed you, where he was in there doing the mud on the wall, that actually had a sink and a drain and like a kitchen type deal and a water hookup for a refrigerator. That was like partially a break room. I had all that deleted and taken out because I didn't want that in our set where we work, or I didn't want that running water in there either. So I just wanted up here closer to us, something small. It's just the three of us here most of the time, although the team is going to be growing, so we need to keep an eye for more people and how we want to utilize that. Okay, so this room right here, this was the previous owner's office, but it's not going to be an office for me. It's going to be a conference room. One thing we lack right now is the ability to meet. Not with just my own team, but if anyone wants to come and have a meeting with us or present with us, or even having a watch party room where we can watch content to get inspired or to review content we've already done, we don't really have a space to do that right now. So I want this to be a small conference table, plants, maybe a couch or something. Just think of a glass room office table to be nice, or a conference room. TV on the wall with probably a wireless HDMI because I don't want to run through the floor. They already started patching the walls. I don't want to knock a hole and run it through the floor to get in-floor connections. So I've already shopped for like wireless HDMI transmitters. It's fine for presenting. That's not a big deal. But I'm just looking forward to having a space that I can finally have a meeting that is like a professional looking type of meeting room. The problem is this room gets extremely hot because of the fact that it's glass on two of the three walls. Well, this wall, the interior wall. But the two exterior walls are floor to ceiling glass, and this glass is not insulated at all. It is shatterproof, like it's got super reinforced, like I'm not gonna test it, but you can like throw cinder blocks at it, apparently it'll bounce off, but there is no R factor to this at all. Think of like a fishbowl in a car, right? You go sit down in a car with no window tint or anything, it gets really hot. 3M does make a product that's not just like a window tint, but it's almost like a glazed product that's like another pane of glass that goes on here to provide some insulation R factor and stops like 99% of the UV light. That will help with some of the heat in this room. The other problem is the fact that the air is not blowing very good out of this duct. So my HVAC guy is going to be checking to see that it's not collapsed or pinched or something weird going on in the ceiling, because the airflow is terrible coming out of there versus the rest. This room is easily 5 to 8 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the rest of upstairs. And it's a small room with its own supply, so that shouldn't be an issue, even with the heat load of the windows. So we need that looked at. And I'm having my AC guy basically do a complete overhaul and duct cleaning of all the ACs for our allergies' sake. Okay, I talked about some stuff downstairs. Even with all of this that you guys have seen, it wasn't enough to really warrant moving in here, although what we're really beginning at this point is a more sound isolated room dedicated for filming, obviously an entryway, a closet, and then offices. But that's not much different than we have now. It's just more separated rather than being in one large room. So I am doing an expansion here. So let's go take a look at that, because that is where my full vision really starts to come to fruition. So I talked about an expansion. Here it is right here. So all of this equipment that's out there right now, that's not ours. All of that is still being moved out. This company made machinery, as you can tell. So this is all just warehouse, and as you can see, it's super echoey. We've already got the wall up right here. As you can see, just like I did at the other studio, I have expanded into the warehouse. But there's two other offices over here that you haven't even seen yet that are awesome. So this right here is data room. They've already moved their stuff off the rack. They left it for me. This is theirs, but they were like, if you want it, you can have it. I'm like, yeah, I want it. Look, it's already got the punch downs. All of the drops are already here. You've seen all of those drops going into all the offices. The only thing I have to run are my 2 new drops for the shop into here. Otherwise, everything's here and it's already punched down. So we can get our server here, which by the way, we're gonna be turning that spinning drive server into a long-term storage. We are building a new server that is all M.2 SSDs for even faster and hopefully more storage that'll be going on here as well. This should be Nick's office right here. No, I'm just kidding. Nick's desk is right here. It's literally like in the office when they put Ryan in the closet. So my new HVAC that's being installed, it's an industrial mini split. It's gonna be controlling the air for the shop. I'm gonna have them remove the air from up here, that's here now. There's the supply, there's the return. And we're gonna be having its own zone. It's gonna have its own thermostat, its own zone, its own schedule. So obviously a data center room needs to have dedicated cooling because of the fact that if we start putting a bunch of computers and things in here, it'll get warm. But more importantly, because I can control the environment and the temperature in this room, and we've sized it to the point to where no matter what, it's gonna be plenty cool in here. This is now gonna be our temperature / case testing room. So anything that needs solid ambient temperatures that have to be locked down. See, when we test coolers and things like that, all that matters is that we denote what ambient temp is And we can do ambient temp corrections for coolers if there's, say, 1 or 2 degrees ambient temp difference. But if it's like 5+ degrees ambient difference, those tests become skewed and you can't really compare them to each other. So I plan on having a test bench in here that is for testing things that need specific lockdown temperatures. So if I set it to, say, 70 degrees Fahrenheit in this room, it will not change no matter how much heat I dump into it with a computer. Also, if we start doing case testing, when we talk about airflow and we want to see how well a case performs versus another case, as long as we have the same set of hardware and the same fans and the same methodology locked down between all of those cases, then we can definitely get our measurements over ambient because of the fact that we can keep it all locked down and controlled in here. So I'm really excited for this room because we don't have anything like this now. You've seen my servers on wheels out in the dirty ass warehouse, and you guys have been triggered about that. And this is right next to our server room. This should probably, I like how there's not a single patch on the wall in here, because it looks like they never used this room for anything. Actually, take that back. They were doing their own like craft brewing, like backyard brewing of beer in this room. So that's why it has a, well, I was gonna say a yeasty smell. It could just be the insulation I'm smelling, the fiberglass. But anyway, I was like, what am I gonna do with this room? For a little bit there, I was like, this could be where Nick is. I'm like, yeah, but Nick doesn't need a big office like this. And I want to, what? Do you want to be all the way down here by yourself? Okay, well then the audience is gonna be really upset because I was gonna tell them this is gonna be the RTFM podcast room, but guys, Nick wants it as an office, so unfortunately I can't bring the show back. All seriousness though, I do think this is gonna end up being the podcast room. I do wanna bring RTFM back. We've been talking about it for a while. The problem is, as you've seen already, what was the RTFM podcast set has just turned into a catch-all. Because of the fact that it's too easy, because it's a common area, everything has to share and be dual duty. It was impossible for us to build a room that's just for a podcast. The nice thing is, this room has a concrete wall. It shares a wall with the stairs. It's gonna be sharing a wall with this room, which is gonna be completely sound isolated from the warehouse and everything else. It is perfect for a podcast because of the fact that it is going to be quiet. Yes, it has a pane of glass, but I plan on building in front of that glass and maybe building a sound box with foam and everything that goes in that window and gets attached to the wall. And then we have a completely sound isolated room for our podcast. And as long as that's the only thing it is responsible for, even if we do the show once or twice a month, that's better than not at all, right? Okay, this is the new expansion. As you can see, we've got this wall. It's 47 feet long, if you're wondering how long my shop is now. So, and it's also a 30-foot ceiling, very echoey. That's obviously not gonna work for me. So I had this wall, I'm having this wall put in. This is a door right here, just like we have now. It's gonna go into the warehouse. But the cool thing is, nothing needs to go out here that is currently out there now in the current studio. So what's out there now, right, is shop and storage. This area is gonna be our storage. We're gonna have a rack shelf, tall, rack shelf all the way to this door. We have running water, and we have a drain here because there was like a U-line sink, like a steel, actually it's right over there, but it doesn't matter. Steel sink and a drain. When it comes to draining loops and rinsing stuff out, it is gonna be so nice to have this right here. I might do an inline filter on this. This is city water, which is pretty bad, but that's still better than anything that we have now. And that also has a drain over here. So you can kind of see where it was torn up. I have another drain in the ground, the soundboard. This is that soundproof board I was telling you about right here. It's specifically for soundproofing. There's another drain in the floor right there. So I have 2 areas I can drain things if I need to. You might see these lines in the wall right here. This is city water, dirty water. This is compressed air lines that are running to a compressor over there. I'll have to hook up my own compressor, but this is running to the compressor. So I'll now have a shop with compressed air. Well, without that little tank, I'll have a big one. This is clean water. This is hooked up to a water softener and a deionizer. So I can choose between soft water or deionized water. So the DI water is what's gonna be awesome for the water builds, the water cooled systems and stuff. I don't have to keep going to the store and buying distilled water or DI water. I can literally supply my own. I am so freaking excited about that. You might be asking yourself, dude, what's up with this frame? Why are we building a frame in front of the wall? That noise thing I talked about in the other room, this is the same wall. If I knock, someone might knock back, to be honest. So, because of the stuff on the wall right here, and all of these lines and stuff that are supplying other things in the building, we, rather than relocating all of those, we are building a sound wall off of the existing wall. And the nice thing is having some of that air barrier between the two actually does help stop some of the sound. Because what transfers a lot of the sound through the wall is the screws. This is all metal framing. This is wood frame, between us, but still, wood does transfer vibrations and sound. But we are doing the soundboards and insulation back here. They're gonna be extending these lines all the way down. So I'm gonna have hookups down towards the floor if I need. But anyway, that's nice to have. So this will be sound isolated. You might be wondering why we just didn't continue this all the way across. Well, as you can see, because we have the second bathroom here, we only had a little bit of depth to work with, so we couldn't do that. So this wall right here, what they're gonna be doing is we're gonna be doing foam insulation in here. So there's gonna be like an expansion foam almost in here to create a barrier. That it's an acoustic foam that they use in like movie sets and stuff like that, and sound stages. Then it's gonna be drywall. No, then it's gonna be soundboard and then drywall. So that's how we're stopping a lot of the sound from getting in on this side. So you have to imagine now I'm gonna have a much bigger workbench here, and it's gonna be like a U shape, mostly so that Phil isn't trying to film across a 4.5 foot table because I'm made a square. No, I'm gonna have a U now. That way I'll be working here and Phil can be within the inside of the U, moving around the workspace. So I'm building it in a way that gives flexibility for Phil to be creative, but me still to have the surface area I need to work on. This side of the wall is gonna have big rack storage, and that's just gonna be for all the computer cases. And we'll be able to finally keep them segregated by brand. So we have like NZXT and Corsair and Fanatec and Height and all of them just separated, right? That'll be nice. And then we could have them like from big to small or something. But one thing I've always wanted that I don't have is I want to have a small gym space here. It may not look like it, you guys are aware of my health problems, but I go to the gym very regular, okay? And sometimes I'm at work and I'm like, dang, even though I had a lift session this morning, I just wanna do like 10 or 15 minutes, just blow off some steam. So I wanna have like a punching bag out here. I wanna have like a Rogue System wall rack or something for like a squat rack or bench press. I wanna have like a fan bike out here. I have a Peloton at home, but I kinda want one I can just hop on and pedal and it's done. And then maybe a small like mat on the floor just to make it sort of soft for the lifts, whatever. Because when I said that to the guys, they also were like, dude, that's cool. It'd be awesome to be able to just go out here and burn off some frustration. So between the rec room, which we talked about, the rec area, and then the stress area, I think it's important to have that out here. And I could still potentially park a car in here if I needed to. And then the AC out here is actually an industrial mini split. So it is going to have a cassette blower in the center of the room, and it's gonna have one over here in the hallway area. That's a one zone, and then the other zone is where Nick is standing right there, which is the data room. And then you won't see any of this ugly crap up here with all the main duct system for the first floor AC right there, because it will all be above the T-bar ceiling. So with that said, I want to give a huge thank you to our audience, because you guys obviously make all of this possible. This is not about increasing the quality of our content. I feel like I'm always torn on the subject of increasing quality. What does quality mean? What a lot of people tell me when they meet me in person or do meet and greets and stuff is they love the fact that we're still very down to earth and relatable and presentable. Other content creators have even told me that. Content creators that are definitely more professional than I am in terms of presentation. And I want to hang on to that. But I want to have the room to have each area be an environment. So when you walk into that room, you know what we're doing in that room. There's no like, okay, Nick, I need you to move this light. I need you to reset this. I need you to set this up over there because we have to do. Each area will be for that already. So as you've seen, the separate areas we have now, podcast set, conference room, which also would make a comfortable talking head video if I needed a more corporate-y talking head about something. The A set, which is very similar to what you see now with our purple and pink lights in the background and stuff. Our shop out here, which is twice the size of the shop I have now, plus a second shop for the more dirty stuff. You know, in the front area being some sort of a setup testing type room where we recreated a quote unquote bedroom or just a comfortable Twitch stream type set so that we can review that sort of stuff, like webcams and all that. So that would be perfect for it. And it'll be awesome to have a working second bathroom because our toilet has been broken forever. Don't ask, it was a rough day. There you go, guys. Like I said, huge thank you to you guys for supporting us in what we do as content, because I'm excited about this and it's all about bringing the best content that I can to you guys while still staying true to who we are. So if it wasn't for support from you guys, this wouldn't be possible. You guys have asked for behind the scenes vlogs. This is just the first one of many. October is gonna be like a crazy month for us because we got to get out of where we are now, reset that unit back to sellable for whoever's going to be moving back into there. and then have this all set up and situated to where we don't have a crazy overlap where we can't work because it is just a bomb zone, like it looked like a bomb went off. All right guys, thanks for watching. I'm interested to see how you feel about this, and I pretty much have my mind made up on how I'm doing it, but every now and then someone's like, you know, you really should, and then I go, you know, you're right. So write it down below what you think we should do with this space, and as always, we'll see you in the next one.